I love streaming. Streaming I love. And that's what we're here to do today, if you can believe it. Oh, Heath is doing his silly little Yumi emotes. Can you believe it? Take this off the screen. Now, I don't have much of a plan today because, we were supposed to be recording before this stream, but, sometimes things just don't work out as planned, and you don't finish your silly Chainsaw Man script. Hey, look, we're doing the infinity thing. This is pretty cool, huh? 6 viewers, that's embarrassing. Now, also, did you see I can rewind here? Wow, because I'm subscribed to my own channel, I guess. Remember how it took Twitch 20 years to make this a feature, and it doesn't seem to be working very fast. Why haven't you watched Reese yet? Because that shit's boring and I ain't going to watch it. And EliteAri's isn't watching it for like 2 weeks, so I didn't. You know what I did today? I opened up the Chainsaw Man anime Crunchyroll page and I said, 12 episodes of the most boring anime you've ever seen in your fucking life. Nothing is good. Everything is bad. We should all kill ourselves. That's my message I bring to you this evening. I'm watching it next weekend. See, I got plenty of time. I haven't even pretended to look at tickets. Oh, I have to waste my fucking afternoon watching a shitty movie. And it's gonna cost like $23. You should... The only way to watch it online is through a cam rip. I can't do that. That's not efficient. That's not cool. That's not good. It's not on any streaming sites yet. Oh, just a miserable existence. Haven't watched fucking movies. Why the hell do you need to rewatch it, Kyle Lamau? Because I have to decide if I like it or not. I don't remember this fucking anime. All I remember is episode 1 was really slow and really boring and really not funny. And that was bad. The rest of it, who knows? Anyway, we got any tweets to go over? I watched The Maltese Falcon. That's an old movie. It's a detective movie. Look at this guy. He's going to solve the case here. Look, he's looking at this suspicious guy. It was a movie. It was okay. I forgot we've got to do this on stream. We got to watch this Revolutionary Girl Utena video from shitty EliteAri's. Can you believe that? EliteAri's also did a stream the other day. Can you believe that? I can. He does it every Friday. And that's all that's happened. Remember the great Moist Critical? This is a smart fella. He knows everything about Denji.
On a distance...
Shut the fuck up, EliteAri's. We ain't ready yet. Is my document open? Oh my god, me and Mia last night recorded, not new. The next part of Claymore. It's not up yet, though. So I'm assuming Mia's having a busy, day. But it'll be out. Where's my Chainsaw Man script? See, I promise I did something today, alright? So this is the part. Oh, you should all go watch my PowerPoint. We get to see how it edited, because you see when I'm writing it, I want it to be down here. But, this has all been recorded and audio edited and almost video edited, so, that was terrific. If you want to see the preview, you've got to watch my PowerPoint. But, this fucking thing is, like, 7 pages long. It's actually 14 pages long. And it's a bunch of shit that I've, like, written out 3 or 4 times. And I'm now at the part where I've got to, like, go through and check if I like any of the way this shit is written to put it in the actual draft. And it's very annoying and tedious. And it's very difficult to focus on which point you're on and which point you're going to next and what order you should cover these points in. And, my little brain just gets so scrambled and I need my Adderall, but EliteAri's won't give it to me. We've been over this many times. But look, I put all this in order just before. Oh, but I don't want to think about that. I want to watch a Pokemon episode. I haven't done that in a few days. Probably like a week. But you don't always get what you want. Go with somebody else, silly. I'm not going with anybody to see fucking Chainsaw Man. That's embarrassing. First of all, I don't want to going with somebody else doesn't make it any better. And third of all, it's the wasting of time. I've only got 2 months left at work because it should be the beginning of next year. And oh my god, you'd think it would be good. You think you'd see the light at the end of the tunnel. It's just miserable. It's just me looking down and it's only been like 3 days. And I'm like, oh, I'm gonna fucking kill myself. And so, if this fucking movie came out in 3 months, we'd be very happy to go to the theaters. But not right now. I just gotta be depressed about everything. Leave me alone. Anyway, I found out my Student Edge account was still active and got to watch Chainsaw Man for like $14. Oh, I wish I was rich. I think it was like $70 for a daybed Lamau. What's a daybed? Middle of the Clear is linking a YouTube video. You quitting work? Yeah, working at this joint. We're moving on from that place. What is this link? Oh, that's right. I also said we would watch this video, The Politics of One Piece, because this has got to be a terrible video. It's just got to be. And Miller the Killer was very mad about it and sent me many DMs about it. It'll be very fun, I think. I also wanted to watch it. There's a few other videos. Like, I still have this open because I wanted to see how many songs I knew just from this. I feel like I'll know 100%. But there's also the playlist. And I feel like there was a bunch of... Let Me Know uploaded a video recently, but it was about space. And space is the most boring of all subjects. So, you know, I did watch like 25 minutes, and I probably will watch the rest of it at some point. But, you know, I didn't watch it all immediately. It's not about something cool like JFK getting assassinated or something. Modern music is kind of boring is the most retarded, like, possible video that could be made. So that's... We're doing a music stream today. It's going to be epic. This Yorgos Lanthimos, he made another movie. This is the guy that did Poor Things or whatever. And my favorite comedian guy is in it. So I have to watch this one. Oh my god, Inyako made a video after EliteAri's spent like 10 minutes the other day complaining that she didn't make videos anymore. Hazel made a video about Channel Awesome. That's got to be awesome. Why the dub versus sub debate is pointless. Oh my god, I remember in EliteAri's stream he was reading some article and some guy was in chat who wrote the article. That was kind of crazy. I graphed 10 years of video game history. What does that mean? A retrospective of Junichi Masuda after the Terror League. True, they kicked this guy out of directing Pokemon games. It was kind of crazy. I don't know. What the rest is this? B-Mask made some video. Silly wrestling video that's probably really dumb. I don't know. There's just so many things to do. So many videos to watch. All art is political. Yes, even manga. Now that's a brave take if ever I've seen one. So there's just so many. Oh my god, it's a guy making this video. Of course it is.
Everybody likes to...
No, that's not a guy, as far as I understand. Now this, barely a guy, this EliteAri fella. Mother's Basement, my goodness. Anyway. Where to, Miller the Killer says. As in quitting work, where to? I mean, hopefully right here. Space is like Lemino's favorite thing. I know, it's pretty upsetting that such a wonderful young man who makes such fun videos about Roanoke or whatever and that ship that got lost when they went to Vinland that one time. Now, that was a video. Could actually care about fucking dumb stars that aren't even real. Space isn't real. Get over yourselves. Oh, my fucking neck, because I'm getting a headache. Oh, yuck, 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 yuck. Gotta stretch, check, gotta stretch. So we'll watch EliteAri's video first. I feel like I had other things to talk about. Wasn't our last stream the great streamer drama stream where I was laying down the law, but then Jockey Bacon interrupted? But I don't know. Nothing really interesting has happened on that front, I don't think. I did listen to a bit of a Destiny stream today because it said finishing Expedition 33 in the title, and I was curious if he'd give any opinions. And he just spent like 50 minutes arguing with chat over whether or not what happened in the game was real or not, and it was pretty retarded, so that was boring. All I wanted to hear him say was that the game sucked, at least the story, because that's true. But nothing happened, you know. My goodness, my fucking... My fucking headphone is stuck in my hair. Get out! I'm trying to react to videos here. It's fucking hot in here, too. Are we for or against QT Cinderella? The sad thing is QT Cinderella is too captured by her LA environment to stand on business. But I don't know, she got made fun of for being insensitive and for collabing with the FaZe guys because they aren't woke enough. And then she apologized for it because like her new best friend that she's had this year, Vanilla Mace or whatever, who EliteAri was telling me about, has feuds with H3H3 or something. She like semi-turned on her. The funny fallout is that Fan went out really hard in defense of QT Cinderella and probably got fucked over by QT Cinderella apologizing. And she was also getting backlash. But I don't know. It's crazy that, like, half my Twitter feed is Nick Fuentes, like, destroying Korea conservative politicians and ratioing them, like, 10-1 on Twitter and beginning his takeover of the world. And in another section, we're arguing about whether or not QT Cinderella is woke enough on the internet. It's like, we're fucked, but that's okay. Well, EliteAri's also sent me this letterbox thing that I quickly did. Oh my god, I closed Discord. I gotta open everything up. Nothing is going to plan. It's hot in here. I want to die. So if we click on this, and then we click on this, and then we click on this, and that's not EliteAri's, and then we click on this, and then we got this, and then we click on, and we open this, and then we go back to Discord. We can close Discord now. We can click on OBS. We can take this off the screen, and my goodness gracious me, we're back in business. So you put your little... Now let's see if it gives me the same results. So you put in your little thingy here, and I said better results, and then you click this thingy, and it's supposed to give you cool movie recommendations. Except it was completely boring, and like everything I've heard of. So I think this was the exact order. The Making of The Last of Us, yeah, I really want to watch that one, bro. And then I clicked on a bunch of these. This is like a documentary. Spirited Away, I've never heard of a more boring movie. The Handmaiden, I already watched 7 video essays on, so that one's boring to me. Same with Licorice Pizza, I already saw that one. The Shining, maybe. Children of Men is, like, interesting. It's by the Prisoner of Azkaban guy. This Eternal Sunshine of the Spotless Mind is one movie that I feel like everybody's heard the title to. And I think it's on my list. So this didn't really help at all, you know, a bunch of boring. Yeah, I really want to watch Inside, bro. I remember that when that was Discourse 4 years ago. But there you go. Actually, I think it might take, because the second thing here was the new Leonardo DiCaprio movie, and I added it to my wish list. Not my wish list, my watch list, because it wasn't on there apparently, and I think it might have taken it off because it did that. So that's cute. Oh, there we go. Exclude movies already on your watch list. Wait, no, don't do that, and show me which ones I should be watching on my watch list. Which ones am I going to like the most? JFK, that sounds like a good movie. But I don't know. EliteAri's DM'd me today about Mulan Drive, because apparently he was nearly going to watch it today before he realized that it was one of the David Lynch movies I've been telling him we're going to watch for like 6 months. So for whatever reason, EliteAri's been influenced to watch that. And, you know, that's good for me. Because the plan was to do that in Blue Velvet, which I think is probably still the plan. But, you know, it's the beginning of the month. Apparently, I've got to watch Chainsaw Man. And because it's the beginning of the month, that means it's Sherlock. Oh, so we'll probably have to do David Lynch towards the back end of the month. My goodness. Does anyone else think Thing Agent looks identical to live-action Usopp? I mean, he has dreadlocks and a big forehead, I guess. I mean, yeah, the recommendations are going to suck if you give everything an 8 out of 10. Not me. That couldn't be me. Mill of the Killer's talking about in chat there. I didn't give any of those movies we just watched it. No, I think I gave Weapons and Barbarian an 8 out of 10. I watched so many movies this weekend. Hold on, let me see. What did EliteAri's do? Twat. That's what we think of EliteAri's. You know, that was a little Freudian subconscious slip. Because I check when he says he's going to be streaming, and I don't be checking anything else. Black Swan, that's a movie. That's by the same guy that did that wrestler movie. Viriatum. I swear this is like the movie I was talking to EliteAri's about Suburbia or something being scary when we were doing our review. The Girl with the Dragon Tattoo, that's a book. Hollow Knight, EliteAri's thinks he's cool or something. Look, there's a bunch of worm guys. Rewatch Chainsaw. So what, 3 movies? I'm supposed to be impressed by this? Unacceptable. Now, number 100 was Hollow Knight. It will not be my number 100. Maybe of next year, I'll tell you that much. Oh yeah, I didn't show off my pretty new Excel spreadsheet that I cleaned up a little bit. Ignore the 2026 one that already exists. Actually, we should probably open that one, huh? But you know, there's a little bit less here of everything now. Because it's supposed to be things I could tangibly maybe do this year. It's still very delusional, but I got rid of a bunch of movies and kept it to this. A bunch of duo movies. this duo that I've been talking about for 4 months. We got this one. We'll add the Leonardo DiCaprio movie here. I forget what it's called, though. Shitty Blade Runner, Monsters University, and Ratatouille. We got to be watching those. Shitty Fallout. I did open this Ghost in the Shell manga, and I looked through it, and the whole first chapter was in color, so that wasn't very enticing, but we might get through it. Of course, we got Visions of Escaflowne and Gungrave. You know, I've deluded myself into thinking I'm going to watch them this year. And then there's the Claymore anime that me and Mia might be doing. And then these silly games. Oh, my head is throbbing. But then also, we've got this, which is basically where I just sent everything else. Plus, like, I have some vague other ones. Like, I have the God of War stuff that I want to do. Look, it's all the Insomniac games. Wolverine's going to come out next year. My goodness, we got to catch up on that. Silly Revolutionary Girl Utena has been added here. Silly Pinky Blinders has been added up here, because I should probably watch that. And then we've got Uncharted over here, so we'll see where that goes. Anyway, let's close these. We're not going to be done by that. Oh, we should get our little trivia thing up, our little bingo sheet. I can't believe Ari is a bigger Hollow Knight fan than Ciclet. That's true. EliteAri's is a big fan. He loves it. EliteAri's Digest is still not out. Can you believe that? He's been teasing it for 2 weeks. That image means he pretty much 100%ed it, Kyle. That's pretty impressive. Except it's not. That game's boring, and I could beat it with my hands tied behind my back, probably. I 100%ed Crash Bandicoot. I'm pretty good at video games. I don't remember it being in color. Did you read Ghost in the Shell 2? No. Let's go over to the Great Weeb Central. Pussy-ass EliteAri ain't here to stop us. Let's go to Ghost in the Shell. I'm trying to look here. Can you please hurry the fuck up? We got the great first Ghost in the Shell one. I can tell from the image. Then we go chapter 1. And the whole thing's going to be in color. Whoa, look at that. All in color. And then the beginning of the next part is in color too, because don't worry, I checked. Look, we got some color, but it's going to transition into beautiful black and white here soon. There we go, beautiful black and white. Now, that's a manga we can read. So I don't know, on Weeb Central it's in color. Unless Heath's got a better link. My brain not work. Okay. Now this shitty EliteAri video got 1.3k views. Ghost Tabs here. My goodness, it's one of EliteAri's favorite chatters. What? True, that's what I be saying. I bet EliteAri's getting a lot of hate for this one because he doesn't love women. But this lady laid an egg, so let's find out all about it.
Summer's day, on a distant summer's day, a girl playing in a sandpit discovers an egg. Holding it firmly in her hand, she examines it carefully, but as someone approaches, she quickly hides it. She then wakes up and realizes this was simply a dream, but surprisingly, that very same egg is lying on her bed. After taking in the situation, she comes to the natural, dare I say, only possible conclusion. While she was busy sleeping last night, she must have laid an egg. This girl is, of course, none other than Revolutionary Girl Utena's Nanami, a bratty, overdramatic, entitled, spoiled,
Did you hear the music swell there, guys?
Snobby, stuck up, yet absolutely hilarious, deeply insecure, and just plain relatable character who just so happens
Sounds like a tsundere.
Miraculously laid an egg. Nanami's egg is the 27th episode of the show and has unspeakable
Isn't Nanami the name of the Kingdom Hearts girl?
Appeal, a hilarious, absurdist, situational comedic backbone wrapped in symbolism, abstraction, and allegory, conveying universally relatable experiences told through the perspective of the scene-stealing
Why is there a boy in Revolutionary
conveying
Girl
universally relatable experiences told through the perspective of the scene.
He doesn't seem like he belongs.
Stealing, over-the-top, brilliantly voiced, unequivocally fantabulous Nanami.
Fantabulous? What's EliteAri trying to be funny in his videos? How about you leave that to me? Now remember, I saw a whole episode of Revolutionary Girl Utena once. I watched it in the dub, and the lip syncing was out of sync by like 2 seconds each time. So I said, this show's no good, and I watched Serial Experiments Lane instead.
Scene stealing
and Razafan. But I only watched like 5 episodes of Razafan, then I finished it later.
over-the-top, brilliantly voiced, unequivocally
And I watched like 2 episodes of Vision of Escalphone. I started all 4 of these shows at the same time. They were all really cool.
Fantabulous Nanami. So Nanami wakes up having laid an egg, and what follows is a multi-part saga of various stages of her grappling with the unfortunate situation that was forced upon her. Naturally, her first reaction is panic. The fact that she laid an egg means that
Hey, I wasn't trying to mute, I was trying to pause. This episode is about abortion. I know it.
Upon her. Naturally, her first reaction is panic. The fact that she laid an egg means that there's only one possible conclusion that every classmate, friend, family member, and person around the world will come to. That she's a freaky space alien. But after speaking to Mickey and learning it's not actually unheard of for mammals to lay eggs, Nanami comes to the next
So I believe the premise of this video so far is EliteAri's kind of funnily telling things from her perspective. Like how all these silly things she thinks, he's like, going along with her.
Conclusion. Everyone must lay eggs, and because of how long it took her to lay her first egg, all of her friends are going to think she's a space alien. These opening parts of the episode portray a girl who sees herself as different from everyone else due to something that her body produced by no will of her own. The egg at this stage in the story, clearly a metaphor for menstruation for girls, or puberty and just adolescence in general.
Abortion, EliteAri, you idiot.
For everyone else. The also relatable feeling of not knowing whether a strange new experience you have is unique to you, which makes you weirdly insecure about it, or an experience that everyone else except you has already had, which makes you weirdly insecure about it. But who cares about metaphors and symbols? Obviously the entire appeal of this opening act is just Nanami herself, the way she screams, her over-the-top freakouts where she imagines cartoonishly cruel friends making fun of her, and imagines herself caged next to other egg-laying creatures, crawling on the floor when talking to Mickey, turning red with anger at Utena's touch. Nanami is absurdly entertaining to watch.
I forgot that girl's name was Utena.
But back to
That makes a lot of sense with the title, huh?
the plot. After running away from her friends, shouting internally at the entire world for daring not to tell her that everyone lays eggs, she runs into Juri. The two of them have a conversation about eggs, Juri just casually admitting to having laid countless eggs since age 7, or at least that's Nanami's reading of their conversation, where she believes Juri's purse to be an overly large egg. But alas, Juri is mature and elegant and everything that Nanami wants to be, and so her feelings concerning her egg pivot entirely. Laying an egg, whether at all or too late, isn't something to be ashamed of, but rather a mark of sophistication, elegance, and maturity. Cue a montage where Nanami starts singing to her egg, talking to it, polishing it, bathing with it, sleeping with it, and just generally caring for it like her own child. The egg becomes less of a biological puzzle freaking out a kid going through adolescence, and more of a prop for a child's fantasy about adulthood and parenthood. From Nanami's newfound perspective, for a woman to carry an egg is for her to have something she can cradle, care for, and most important of all, be praised for. The symbol transforms from menstruation to pregnancy and motherhood. But like I said, this isn't just a short story, but a saga of many parts. And I'm sorry to tell you, but Nanami's joy doesn't last. After a brief cutaway to Utena,
This is getting scary. The only thing I've learned so far is that this show looks very good.
Wondering why Nanami is acting so strange lately, and Anthy pointing out that her pet hen, coincidentally also named Nanami, acted the same way as girl Nanami when it laid an egg, we cut to girl Nanami sitting at a grand dining table singing to her egg. As her brother Toga walks in, she asks him whether he would prefer a boy or a girl, and Toga firmly states that he would prefer a girl, to which Nanami wholeheartedly agrees. And this revelation about Nanami sets Toga off on a monologue about how God created men and women because they join in the best sort of way, and that no matter how good something may feel,
joining, huh?
going against God's plan is wrong. Nanami, not fully grasping the magnitude of Toga's misunderstanding, gets mad at him for insinuating that she would love anyone else besides him, her borderline incestual obsession with her brother being so strongly entrenched in her desire.
It's like Yamada's first time.
That any other form of love, whether gay or not, isn't even a remote consideration in her mind. But after calming down, she asks him directly about what he would think about a girl who lays eggs, and what she gets in response is an absolutely hilarious subversion. Toga, sincerely, firmly, and with extreme conviction, stating that the only reason they have lived happily together up until this point is because Nanami is a girl who doesn't lay eggs. To Toga, to lay an egg is to dishonor your family through a shameful act. The egg starting out as a symbol for menstruation and puberty, transforming into pregnancy and motherhood thanks to Juri, and now acting as a symbol of promiscuity and teenage pregnancy. Laying an egg is no longer something to be proud of.
Please, let's get to the abortion part. Please.
Something that gives you status as an elegant and mature
She's gonna abort the egg. This is gonna be epic.
But something to be ashamed of. Something that took away your innocence and left you impure in the minds of those who look at you. And so, emotionally devastated, Nanami thinks deeply about what other girls must do with the eggs they lay, until she realizes the obvious grotesque answer. They must be eating them. But Nanami just can't bring herself to do it.
That's abortion if ever I've heard about it.
Instead, she tearfully abandons her egg, leaving it wrapped in a cloth under a tree like a symbolic mother, too unwilling to abort her child, yet also unwilling to live with it due to the pressure of the people around her. I called it. After a restless night's sleep, replaying the conversation with her brother in her head, and trying her utmost to convince herself that she made the right choice in abandoning her egg, violently pushing down memories of the fun time they spent together, which may have only been 15 minutes of runtime, but felt like an entire lifetime, Nanami...
I wonder if the point of this is going to be that she should live for herself, just like Asamitika, perhaps. Kyle not trying not to say the R word. Which one? Retarded? Rape? I'm not scared. What's another R word? I'm out of R words.
Falls into a state of absolute regret and runs back to rescue her egg. Despite an initial false alarm thanks to Sayonji, mother and child finally reunite, and Nanami dances with glee under the starry moonlight and promises to never let her egg go again. And thus, Nanami's journey with her egg... In my head,
the school in Revolutionary Girl Utena is on like an airship. So I don't know why we're on the ground and there's a city.
Across this episode was an incredible saga, with Nanami's mindset and the egg's symbolic meaning shifting throughout. But if one thing is made clear by this episode, it's that Nanami is a person who defines herself by the reception that she receives from the people around her.
True.
She is deeply insecure and needs external validation. She needs the validation of her peers, the validation of society, the validation of elegant and mature people like Juri, and the validation of those she wants to love her, like her brother Toga. But in the end, the happiest she is when she's dancing with her egg alone under the starry sky, having abandoned any care for society's judgment of her, and just simply dancing. The 27th episode of Revolutionary Girl Utena, leaving us with a clear, simple message. When you lay an egg, worry not of...
Isn't there like 70 episodes? How many episodes of this show exist? Hold on, let me look. Hold on, I have to sit up, you know. Revolutionary Girl Utena number of episodes. Is there an Utena manga? Oh my goodness, this is in the last act. Oh, it is a manga. I didn't even know that. I thought it was anime original. Or is it? Hold on. Where are the dates for this fucking shit? It's an anime television series. And the manga's like a spin-off, I think. Oh, here we go. Dates. 96. 97. So it's more of an Evangelion thing, I'm guessing. I don't know. I'll watch the television show.
What others will think of it, or think of you, but focus on what you yourself are thinking and feeling, and take the course of action that will make you the happiest and most fulfilled. In whole, Nanami's egg-centric journey is a metaphor for self-actualized maturation. Starting out as a child, constantly worried about new experiences and the way people across society see you, to becoming an adult who defines oneself without an audience, without a rubric, and without any praise. A person who knows who they are when the gaze of everyone else is absent. Or at least that's what it feels like the episode is trying to tell you, until we cut back to Nanami and her egg has grown into the size of a building, hatches into a space alien, zapping and abandoning her, and then
what
Nanami
if you gave birth to Hitler? Oh, it's all going to be a dream?
Her egg has grown into the size of a building, hatches into a space alien, zapping and abandoning her, and then Nanami wakes up from her space alien dream to find her real egg-sized egg has finally hatched and she missed it, with the hatched baby nowhere to be found. So what are we left to think? I have absolutely no idea. Is it a lesson on how self-definition can mutate you beyond recognition? Or that even when you attempt to exist without caring about the judgment of others, you can't fully escape the world's chaos? Is the episode telling us to firmly define yourself, but expect the ground to move? Or was there no point at all, and it was just a funny prank by Anthe, who planted Chuchu's reincarnation egg on Nanami to mess with her? Who knows? And honestly, who cares? In reality,
so the little mouse thingy there was in the egg?
The entire appeal of the episode is Nanami herself. Her over-the-top, melodramatic reactions to things, just the absurdest elements to her character, like the fact that she assumed she must have laid an egg because there was one on her bed when she woke up. Even just small scenes I didn't even mention, like her getting mad at her assistant for saying he'd do anything for her when he obviously wouldn't be able to run 300 kilometers per hour or fly at Mach 5 or dive 10,000 meters below the ocean for her. And finally, I know this will only appeal to a certain subset of the Utena audience, but I can't possibly begin to overstate just how amazing Nanami's dubbed voice is. It's so amazing.
Yeah.
Unique, and in my mind it will forever be associated with Nanami. But that's Nanami's...
She just started that line right now, even though she's like 5 frames in.
Egg, an intense saga full of emotions and the human experience laid bare. Not just the best episode of Revolutionary Girl Utena, but one of the greatest television episodes of all time.
Wow, that was very dramatic. And EliteAri's didn't even know what was happening at the end. Miller the Killer is calling out the Miller the Killer recap in this video, my goodness. but there was like a conclusion at the end, and it was retold in a funny way. And that's like my videos, so you know. EliteAri's should get his own fucking ideas. How about that? Oh, recap. That is the worst R word. Good video until the racist part at the end. Hold on, what was the racist part? Oh, the dub part? That is pretty racist. If you do like dubs, you are a racist, but that's neither here nor there. I always thought the egg hatching and her leaving her was the egg holding a grudge for Nominee abandoning it. That'd be funny. Oh god, I remember this episode, but I immediately knew it was kind of linked to periods. Nominee's still hilarious, though, with how absolutely dumbfounded she is by the egg. My goodness, thank you for the rare Utena video. For me, Utena and Evangelion are more similar than not. They are built the same way, except Utena is just much more fun. Oh, you get your life is pain ending for sure, but first, we get some good laughs. Evangelion's got some good laughs too. I enjoyed this video, but what the fuck? I guess this guy doesn't know what Utena is about. Have you watched Utena? You clearly did not watch the show. Oh my goodness. So the episode both weirdly enforces and upholds patriarchy. Oh, this is the funny thing, because these two definitely think you can't think it does this because it's a show about girls. Subjugated femininity, minors being sexualized in subtext, Oni-chan complex and weird femininity as divined by biology, yet also subverts it and then completely throws it out for a gag. Wow, amazing. I have such a low threshold for anime bullshit. Lamau Dungeon Meshi peak. Dungeon Meshi. That show's boring. That show's about eating. It would have been cool if this was a big YouTuber. But also, EliteAri's tried to say that this video had 100% female viewership, but he was just lying. I don't know why he even tried that prank, but... I've learnt a lot about Revolutionary Girl Utena today. I wish I could have gone in blind. Which one of these videos are we going to do next? I do want to do this One Piece one. I don't actually want to watch this video,
ask
right?
Me, Jujutsu Kaisen daughter?
Where's the projector?
No, more like chain. Everybody likes to ask me, Jujutsu Kaisen daughter? No, more like Chainsaw Man's son.
True, I know that meme about thought daughters and gay sons or something. Anyway, I can't wait for EliteAri's to watch that video on his stream once he's seen the movie. Hold on, we're going to see the top 100 songs of the... Oh, this is actually like a ranked list. I thought this was going to be the most popular. Well, that's a popular song. Maybe it is popular song. Okay, we just know all these songs. This isn't as fun as I thought it might be. Let's go to the end. Bro, you ever heard this Beyonce song? Ever heard this TikTok song? Before it was an app, it was a song. My goodness. Ever heard this song? Bro, this guy died or something. I don't like Hey. True, I've heard this one. 50 Cent's pretty cool. Bro, remember grade 3 choir class? Beyonce's back. Shakira. Oh my god, Lady Gaga. She was in Joker. 2, that is. Not the Black Eyed Peas. Now, Rihanna's pretty cool, though. You gotta admit that. I don't like this song at all. Bro, this is like Lady Gaga's second best song. Oh my god, no. So it was just the popular ones, anyway. Seemed like 100% rating for me. One Piece or music, what a hard decision. They're both going to be so good. It's only 89.6% female now. EliteAri's, you're not leaving for the One Piece video. Who cares? You're going to forget all this shit anyway. You're not watching fucking One Piece. Okay, this video could be really funny very immediately. Because pop music has like 5 very interesting girls for like the first time in its existence. Unless this is just going to be about how, like, they do more than sample songs or whatever. There's, like, a word for when you more than sample a song, where you, like, take the... But it's not quite a cover, and there's been a lot of video essays made about that recently, so... Or it could just be a dude who hates women.
Assure you, the title of this video is not clickbait, nor is this video going to be old man. yelling at clouds. This is not a video saying that all new music is terrible and that they
Oh, we've forgotten. We didn't even think this could be about AI or something.
stop making good music when I turn 20. Believe me, I'm the furthest thing from any kind of a music snob or elitist who, scoffs and sneers at new music. I love finding new music and broadening my horizons. In fact,
He didn't address whether or not he's an incel,
I said
though.
I listen to a more diverse set of music now than when I was younger. Instead, I want to talk about a trend that I've noticed in music that has been going on for about 5 to 10 years.
Oh, no, it's going to be the thing I just talked about that I didn't have a name for.
It seems modern music is putting more of a focus on vibes and the production.
Oh, not vibes. We can't have silly vibes. We need meaningful. Oh, AI slop versus artists? How AI slop could change music for the better? What the hell? That's not where I expected that title to go. Oh my goodness. And he's singing songs. How the internet killed regional music. My goodness, not regional music.
Rather than songwriting and an ability to write good hooks, grooves, memorable melodies, lines. Now, I want to be clear, I don't dislike vibey music or music where the production is a key component. And I don't think they're intrinsically bad things. Some of my favorite artists and bands fall firmly into that category. I just feel that I
didn't know any of those bands. I'm not even a real music guy. EliteAri's says, I miss regional music. I mean, Nirvana is the thumbnail for that. It's probably a pretty good thing because that is what people say about Nirvana. And old people do say that all the time. It's like, man, you used to be able to see the next up-and-coming band in some basement somewhere just in Seattle, Washington, brother. And then they would slowly, over like 3 years, become the biggest act in the world, and you felt like you were part of something, brother. But now it's just you put it on the internet. And, that's sad. The internet does suck.
General trend in music, it's kind of boring. So to start off with, since as far as I can tell, I'm one of the few people to have even noticed this trend, I want to give some examples of what I'm talking about. Taylor Swift used to be known for her big, catchy pop hit.
Oh no, this is the one big pop girl we don't like at the moment.
22 and Blank Space. But her past 4 records have been these sort of meandering, melodramatic songs that never really seem to go anywhere.
True.
The Tortured Poets department in particular just feels bloated with 31 tracks, on top of being rather uninteresting. And unfortunately, I fear that her next album is going to
31 tracks is crazy. No, I don't listen to Taylor Swift, really. I just hate her because I'm supposed to.
More of this, so that'll make 5 albums now.
I did go to that concert movie, though.
Maybe more 3. I did like Folklore Nevermore, but I digress. This isn't a Taylor Swift review. Or for example, we can take a look at a newer artist like Sabrina Carpenter. Admittedly, I haven't listened to
Sabrina Carpenter's okay.
a lot from Sabrina Carpenter, so I can't say anything about any of her deeper cuts or non-singles from her albums. But of the songs that I have heard, they just sound so bland and uninspired. Espresso to me sounds like it's supposed to be the backing track to an Amex card commercial.
I don't really like Espresso.
And again, this isn't me trying to hate on Sabrina or hate on pop music or hate on new.
I think describing it as like vibes is good. I think that is the case. I just think it's like obviously cool. It is funny because a lot of them are like my age. Well, Sabrina Carpenter's a little older. And obviously Taylor Swift is like 15 years older than me or something. How old is Taylor Swift? Taylor Swift is 36. 35. I was close. And that's only like 10 years older than me. No, it's like... Yeah, it's 10 years. Oh no, that's not so good. That's not what I wanted. Give me Jeff Flu. We'll get to Jeff Flu. EliteAri's trying to describe me with a Twitter link. Chainsaw Man cool. Couldn't possibly be cool. Chainsaw Man's sad and depressing. Where is Kobeni? And then he's under her fat stomach. It's got 11k likes, and EliteAri's giggling right now. And that's embarrassing. Back to the great music video.
It just feels so boring and lackluster compared to what her predecessors made. And yes, of course, there are exceptions like Olivia.
That's insane. Like, I don't know. I feel like Sabrina Carpenter is better than like the last 15 years of pop music, but most of, especially in the 2010s, most of it was like bad rap that was like pop music. And like Olivia Rodrigo, that's some personality right there, even if she's a bit cringy and I don't like her that much. But then of course you got Billie Eilish, who, that lady is pretty good at music. And there's like, I don't know if you would even count like Doja Cat in this mix. I don't think he'll talk about female rappers too much.
Olivia Rodrigo, who does a fantastic job writing these big, catchy pop-punk choruses, but exceptions don't disprove the rule. I recently looked through the Billboard Top 20 from this year, 2015, and 2005, and the trend...
Oh, interesting. 2015 is like the year the 2010s started to suck. That's like Drake Central. 2005. Could I even place... Like, this is post Linkin Park. This is like... I think it's pre like Rihanna and Lady Gaga though. 2005 is weird. It's probably Black Eyed Peas, right?
was very apparent. This year's songs are noticeably less catchy, less interesting, and less memorable. Morgan Wallen, who by the way, his new album has 37 tracks, he's a prime
I didn't know we were bringing the shitty country guys into this.
example of this. Each of the songs that he has on the Billboard Top 20 just feels so incredibly boring. Each of them just feels like a really.
Well, now we're just going to agree with
over
this
and over
guy.
again for 2.5 minutes, which is somehow really short, but also just feels like it goes on and on and on. And looking at the top 20 in 2015, you can see this trend begin to happen, but most of these songs are still quite catchy and memorable. Going all the way back to 2005, almost all of these songs
Show me what the songs
are
are.
not just catchy, but some of them are probably some of the most iconic hooks ever written. Don't Ya, Candy Shop, Gold Digger.
Okay, 2005 is the 50 Cent year. No, that's 2003, isn't it? Gold Digger. True.
Holla Back Girl. Rap music, I would argue, is probably the biggest offender of this trend. The genre seems to have just been completely taken over by minimalistic trap beats and a hyper-fixation on aesthetics, entirely style over substance. Rock and metal, I feel like, is sort of the exact opposite of rap, but not in a good way. Where modern rap is producing some of the world's biggest stars and hits, so much of rock and metal just feels like guitar nerd music. And don't get me wrong, there's nothing wrong with guitar nerd music. But if you look through the Billboard charts, you won't hardly find any rock or metal songs, because frankly, rock and metal bands just don't want
True. People have been complaining about this for 20
like songs
years.
that appeal to anyone besides Redditors. Compare that to when I was a kid in the 2000s, rock and metal bands are writing massive hits, whether we're talking pop punk, hard rock, alternative metal, metalcore, and so on. This isn't just relegated to the poppier and more radio-friendly side of rock and metal. Recently, there's been a sort of MySpace deathcore revival with bands like Reverend and Psychoframe. And while I like these bands, and I appreciate what they're doing and bringing back a lot of the rawness and energy and aggression of MySpace deathcore, where modern deathcore is often a bit sterile and overproduced, these bands still lack one crucial element: the songwriting. Compare this song from Reverend.
Why are we in a metal tangent? I don't like metal.
It feels like a breakdown compilation. And again, I like Reverend. I'm not trying to shit on them. I would just like to see them try their hand at writing an actual song and not just breakdowns. Not to mention, none of these bands have any of the star power.
True.
That's fine. But heavy music can't thrive off
True.
that have noticed this mentioned earlier. This trend in music doesn't really seem to have been noticed by much of anyone else. I've seen only a few people talk about it or make note of it. From the few people that have noticed this trend, I've heard a few different theories as to why they think the music is in this vibe era. Such as that music, more than ever, is now the background to something, right? Less and less people are sitting down and listening to an album front to back. People are turning on.
True. This is why Netflix shows look ugly, because they're just in the background or something. EliteAri's watched that video once.
Lo-fi beats to study to, or putting music in the background of a TikTok video or Instagram reel, which is another theory that I've seen, that short-form content is changing how we listen to music. For example, a couple of years ago, Taylor Swift's Cardigan, or the bridge from Taylor Swift's Cardigan, went viral on TikTok. Provide a nice, emotional background to videos. However, I can see this one going both directions. On the flip side, I've been seeing a lot of the...
I don't think any music is like repeatedly listened to because you're listening to it. It's not like background stuff. Like, I don't think this is true at all.
outdoor videos which feature 2000s hard rock choruses.
This is what you guys do
So
all
I'm not
day,
so sure
huh?
that TikTok is
Watch
what
these
killed the chorus.
TikToks?
So for my first hypothesis, we need to take a little step back, zoom out, and get a bigger picture of modern everything, basically. I'm sure many of you have already seen video essays or social media posts
This
talking
is just going to be about attention
about
spans.
lamenting on how everything is boring now. And I'm not talking about the constant drip feed of never-ending content that's rotting our brains, but that stylistically and aesthetically speaking, everything from cars to logos to architecture to interfaces, UIs,
Minimalist,
for
true.
the last decade have been undergoing a sort of makeover. For the sake of simplicity, I'm just going to call this corporate minimalism, even though it really encompasses a few different design trends and philosophies. I'm not going to go into great detail about this. You can find plenty of other videos doing so. But, for example, I'm sure you're going to see how cars have altered into these
Even Chainsaw Man got minimalist. Like, he'd stopped drawing the backgrounds. It was crazy.
boring gray crossovers, or how places like McDonald's went from colorful and fun to corporate and gray, or how computer interfaces and video game UIs used to be
Nakey
colorful and
Jakey.
distinct stylistic designs to now
That
just
guy's
square and
smart.
flat designs that lack any sort of personality. Or maybe you've noticed how
He
all these
makes good music, though. We could talk about that.
company logos have been undergoing these minimalistic flat redesigns. I could keep going, but I think you get the point. I think it stands to reason that music, especially pop music, would succumb to the same trends and forces. The aforementioned Sabrina Carpenter is, I think, a perfect example. Another great example is all these gentcore.
This is retarded. The Sabrina Carpenter point is dumb as fuck. It's like she's very clearly like an aesthetic. Not even just in music. Like, the part of the reason why she's popular is because she looks like a glamour girl or whatever. And it's like a very different, like, look. And then it's like she's very, like, witty and funny and, like, sexual in a cute way in her songs.
Or bands or octane core, whatever you want to
And
call
that is like the vibe thing, but that's not really what he's talking about. He's like, it's like in the background because Espresso is like very poppy and like mall sounding.
the one-word noun name bands genting in a monocolored room. Their music is so masterfully mixed and produced that it's actually just kind of boring.
We should have known from the hair this was a fucking annoying metal guy. And
Nothing
he
in their
was just
songs
gonna
really
talk
stick
about
out or grab
this.
you enough punch. Then for some reason adopted.
Talk
Phil
about
or-
Billie Eilish.
or-
Oh,
corporate and
Tipsy,
safe.
I don't
Some
like
standouts
that song.
Kendrick and SZA song or Pink Pony Club, but others like a bar song by Shabuzi or any of the Morgan Wallen tracks just feel like they were made to be as bland, uninteresting, and inoffensive as possible. There's no real character or personality to these songs.
have we ever thought that the people, the mass market, might like stuff that we don't like?
Sound that everyone wants but doesn't quite realize they want is the imperfections. Tape was expensive and difficult to work with. You really need to be good at what you were doing.
Ooh,
and if you were
music making software.
is this for the generation? But based on my personal experience, there is at least some truth to these observations, and nowhere do those attitudes shine through more than in modern hip-hop, particularly what I'm going to call aesthetic rap. These new Zoomer rappers where everything they do just feels like it's a part of being aesthetic, from the names they pick, to the artwork, to the lyrics, the production. And look, I'm not saying that aesthetics are intrinsically bad, but this stuff is so hyper-focused on being aesthetic that the actual music is kind of boring, right? These songs aren't saying
Can we name a
anything,
name?
they're not catchy, they're not really offering the listener anything other than some vibes. And look, I'm not saying that every rapper needs to be Nas or Pharoah Monch or whatever, but it almost feels like being able to actually rap or write good lyrics is now somehow cringe in modern rap. This is where I think Gen Z's fear of being cringe or being earnest really comes into play. And in order to write truly great music,
Gen Z famously very afraid of being cringe.
you have to be sincere, you have to be a little bit cringe. And ironically, this obsession with not being cringe kind of just makes a lot of these rappers more cringe.
I swear people made that video like 3 years ago where it's like, we should embrace being cringe.
And ultimately, I think these attitudes are killing Gen Z's creativity and killing the longevity of their work. No one's going to care about Netspin in a few years because he's not giving people anything other than some vibes. You know, and the funny thing is, historically, hip hop is really
I don't know who that is.
Overcooked production outside of specific genres.
Okay, Miller the Killer, we can go on to the great One Piece right now, and it looks like we're starting with the no, this is probably just a protest in America, but there is a One Piece flag here because One Piece is about the revolution. What are we saying here? Notice how there are no part 2 characters. People are waiting to come back. Let me think of one. Nayata. I guess she was in part 1. Miller the Killer did get me there. Got a lot of fucking links in here from shitty EliteAri's, huh? Still watching this? Wow. Shut up, Miller the Killer. We'll delay your silly video by a few EliteAri's links now. True, apparently there's been a lot of Ken Reese. How am I supposed to say this girl's name? Can she beat a bunch of people? Apparently there was a Bakugo thing. EliteAri's was talking about that on his stream. Bakugo and it's not close. Reese wins because she's cooler. Oh my god. Best viewers. SM top something something. And Miller the Killer once again cocks me out of my big moment to Oh, power scaling. The Reddit. This sounds good. Me and Mia talked about power scaling quite a bit in Claymore. It is funny. Our next Claymore discussion is basically me and Mia speculating why the Claymore characters aren't better for like 3 hours. So later you can look forward to that. Kakashi would obviously win. Naruto characters are way stronger than Chainsaw Man characters. Which character is this exactly? Author. He should be able to destroy a city. Power scaler. He is actually universal at the very minimum. Author. Power scaler. True. You know, I haven't engaged with the power scaling community in like 5 years, and I've just realized that they probably talk about Jujutsu Kaisen now, and that has made them infinitely more lame in my head. And Chainsaw Man. Why would anybody care how strong Chainsaw Man characters are? Talk about Goku and Itachi. What the fuck are we doing here? So there's this 24-year-old here. Who's this guy? That's not supposed to be Aokiji or whatever, is it? Or am I being racist? Miller, tell me. He's got 5s on him. Does this guy also explode or something? And he's like, I explode way cooler. Though it is a Sanji post. So it could be Aokiji. Aokiji's from One Piece. EliteAri's. Come on, keep up. He's got ice powers. Car really forgot everything. Wow. So it is a One Piece guy, but it's a guy that explodes. And Miller the Killer said I forgot. So should it have been a character that I knew? Is it supposed to be like Yasup or something? I'm pretty sure he shoots guns. So I just don't know. But anyway, we're going to learn everything about One Piece and how its politics are by Jeff Thu here. And how it's a image for the revolution. Bro doesn't remember Booger Man. Mr. 5. Exploding boogers. I guess, maybe I remember that. Wait, Mr. 5, that probably means he isn't there at the end, right? I definitely remember like a panel of him picking his nose and flicking it now. But it's not like he's like the candle guy, Mr. 3 or whatever. Now that was a guy from an arc you could respect. And he comes back later. So we don't care about Mr. 5 out here. Says Little Garden is the best arc. There ain't no way he's on Little Garden. That was just the candle guy. But doesn't the candle guy show up like halfway through the arc because they're getting beaten up? I don't remember.
Over the past...
I bet Mother's Basement doesn't like Little Garden. I bet he likes Marineford. because of the politics. Whiskey Peak and Little Garden. I don't
Over
know.
the past
He probably blows up the Vivi's guy and the ship. I remember that.
Over the past few months, certain cosplay props been showing up in places you'd never expect. At least if you don't know anything about the anime and manga that it's from. A goofy little caricature of a skull and crossbones and a jaunty little yellow straw hat flying proudly over desperate protests and the flaming wreckage of a nation's capital. There are a few Shonen Jump anime one could say have conquered the world over the years, but none quite so literally as this. From New York to Jakarta, Paris to Palestine, Rome to Kathmandu, One Piece is being adopted the world over as the official manga of protest and revolution. Which must be more than a little confusing to folks who mainly know Luffy as that one guy who was always standing next to Boruto's dad and Bleachigo from, you know, that one anime.
Remember Boruto's dad jokes from 10 years ago? They're still funny.
It's way too long to ever watch it. Meanwhile, those who have watched it are just thinking,
Sniper King, shoot down that flag.
Ew! Ew! Yuck. Ugh. I wonder how much more shit this video would be if it wasn't proofread. True. Mother's Basement, like, did a a post where he was bragging about how everybody thinks this is, like, his best video ever.
2024 has been a crazy...
And Miller the Killer was freaking out because he sent it to me and said this is, like, the worst video ever. They're calling it one of the best video essays of the year, the peak of my YouTube career, perhaps the greatest One Piece video of all time. Seriously, these are all comments I have gotten, and I could not be more grateful for all your support. I am insanely proud of the work my editor Trey and I did on this. If you haven't seen it, you're missing out. I also want to give a special shout out to Zach from the One Piece podcast for proofreading the script. He really helped pull the video together. Now, Miller the Killer, when he sent me DMs, he was saying he got this wrong, and he got this wrong, and he got this wrong. But this guy's from the official One Piece podcast, and Miller the Killer is just an idiot in my chat room. So who are you guys going to believe? That's up to you guys. Correct reaction. I mean, the One Piece dub is abysmal. Did you hear that fucking voice?
Those pirates just declared war against the world government! Yeah, sounds about right. So in the interest of clearing up
Jesus Christ.
that confusion, and also just because I think it's really cool and fun to talk about, I want to examine some of the political themes that have made One Piece and the Mugiwara flag such lightning rods for radical and revolutionary thought among Gen Z. Though before we can get to that, this video is sponsored by Stella Sora,
fucking
a classic
Gen Z. Everything's about Gen Z. These fucking old retards. I hate them all. Gen Z is women. Every Gen Z man has like a job. Doesn't even have a job. Doesn't have a license, I'll tell you that much. And has never done anything. They're all losers. They got nothing going on. They all dropped out. None of them... Oh my goodness. So shut the fuck up about Gen Z. I don't want to ever hear about it unless we're talking about women. And I don't want to hear about this ad.
or value out of Stella Sora by using the promo now on iOS, Android, and PC. Now, with that out of the way, before getting started, we should also probably address all the folks who will adamantly insist One Piece isn't political at all. So,
now, don't forget, chat, that those people are pretty retarded too. It's just very funny that, like, the lefty types are obviously, like, misreading One Piece. Because they basically, what they want to say is that One Piece is very ACAB. But One Piece is obviously not very ACAB at all. And there's, like, the counter on Twitter a lot recently has been, like, Luffy, like, totally lets a bunch of monarchies rule over him as long as they're, like, good guys and nice. Which is, like, almost peak liberalism, aside from the monarchy part of, like, what... like lefties on Twitter would make fun of liberals for, about how they think like good people are going to change it rather than tearing down the system or whatever. And it's just like this is just, we're pretending One Piece isn't, but you know, they do get to look smart because the One Piece isn't political at all. People are probably pretty stupid too. The lengths people go to make Garp seem like a bad guy is hilarious. I didn't even consider that that's probably what they're going to have to do. And obviously the Fishman is, like, very clearly supposed to be an allegory for, like, civil rights in America, and the Fishmen are supposed to be the black people. And what's happening is that One Piece just doesn't have the sensitivity around the subject that the more lefty types would want them to be. So Oda probably puts characters he likes and thinks are good guys, like Garp here. And Garp's probably telling them to be more conciliatory to their oppressors here, which probably doesn't sound very good at all. And they think that positions him as the bad guy. It's just, it's like a difference between, like, they're obviously they're going to try to speak with objective language, but they're also going to try and reject, like, authorial intent, which is probably conflicting. It's just annoying the whole way down. But anyway, let's let him get into the examples. Plus, we were already going flat. Plus, I got a headache, so leave me the fuck alone.
Just completely wrong. Both in the broad, everything is political sense that no work of art can fully expunge its own creator's biases and worldview, and the meme sense that it has many queer and...
Even that, he didn't even say that right, because he tied that into authorial intent. I don't know. Obviously the art isn't political stuff is like reductive, but all art is inherently political is like technically true, but it also doesn't say anything. Because that statement is just that everything is obviously political, which is again probably true, but it is like saying nothing, because that's not what people mean when they say like keep your politics out of my thing. So it's just like people talking around each other and trying to use gotchas rather than like having a conversation. Which is fine, I love a gotcha. But I also don't like these people, so they're annoying.
Characters in it, but also in the more specific sense that Eiichiro Oda has a lot of very strong opinions regarding governments and social issues that he builds most of his story arcs around. Drum Island is explicitly about the evils of privatized and the...
I don't think that Oda is probably a very political person. I think probably he just like has bad guys and has good guys, and sometimes they're institutional bad powers and sometimes they're just rogue bad guys, and like Luffy is going to take down them all.
Monopolized medicine. The entire East Blue saga is bookended.
And it also, like, there is repeated stuff in One Piece where it's like, piracy is probably not good. And like Luffy does do bad things sometimes where he like wants to steal all the gold or whatever, and like he even says he's not a hero at times, and like obviously the Chopper's dad, like if you think about it, is like obviously moralistically in the wrong and is getting people sick all the time and is a bad doctor. But obviously like he has the pirate spirit, which is like, it's like juxtaposed, right? It's like obviously viewed as a good thing, but only because like One Piece isn't really about absolutely doing what's right all the time. Anyway.
About the evils of privatized and monopolized medicine. The entire East Blue saga is bookended with stories about different scales of police corruption. Skypiea is about colonialism and its ties to the romanticized age of exploration. Fishman Island deals with civil rights.
But even now, I didn't finish Skypiea, but isn't the end in Skypiea, don't they have to like live alongside each other? Isn't that like the whole point? Or wouldn't a lefty's opinion be more like, kill all the colonizers?
Is about colonialism and its ties to the romanticized age of exploration. Fishman Island deals with civil rights and the evils of racial supremacy. Alabasta and Dressrosa both examine from different angles how covert foreign actors can destabilize and subvert sovereign states. Water 7 is about basically the CIA doing that and leads directly into a vicious spoof of Japan's guilty until proven innocent court system. Wano explores the pros and cons of open borders with a little side of trans rights. Sabo's backstory is all about how elites divide and conquer through social stratification. Robin's backstory shows how history can be...
Because all this is technically true, and this is what's depicted in all of these. It's just, like, One Piece very much, by the nature of it being island to island, is always going to be like, there's going to be a society here that we engage with, and the society is probably going to be doing something wrong that Luffy is going to have to correct.
Twisted and erased to control political narratives in the Smithsonian.
But being political in the political process / political idea sense, and being political in the, like, commenting on current political issues thing is like probably the major like split here, where we're kind of using politics when we want to incorporate both, and basically trying to power the political commentary side into the political structure side.
The entire Summit War saga is about the corruption and politicization of justice itself. Long Ring Longland is about cheating scandals in the Laugh Olympics. It's a very political manga. And when you dig deeper to look at the underlying narrative connecting those arcs, you find revolutionary politics baked into One Piece and Luffy's very DNA. Literally. Oda keeps a picture of Che Guevara hanging prominently in his studio, and he's based more than one character.
That would be funny.
on his likeness and history, including Monkey D. Luffy's own father, Dragon, the leader of the Revolutionary Army. Now, Luffy himself is not a revolutionary, not consciously anyway. His only political priority is the redistribution of the...
So Luffy's supposed to be Brazilian, right? So is that like racism from Oda there?
But he is a freedom fighter in the most literal sense of the term, that he will fight anyone who tramples on his or his friend.
That is another thing where it's like clearly there's going to be indiscretions in the way One Piece handles these political issues that they wouldn't like. And it's like, it's almost hypocritical that they don't bring it up.
Freedom, which naturally leads to him overthrowing a despot or two, since anyone who shares meat with him is his friend for life. And for that, like many freedom fighters the world over, the dominant global hegemony has branded him a criminal and a terrorist. That hegemony, the world government, isn't a direct allegory for any specific empire, but there are some clear historical parallels. Aesthetically, it borrows a lot from Age of Sail Britain, but the material conditions are a little more modern. A vast network of international extortion that drains the resources of subordinate states in exchange for vague promises of protection, while treating the citizens of unallied states as effectively subhuman, killing them for resources or just for the hell of it.
That's America, guys.
Literally built on top of a racialized underclass whose slavery was made illegal
sounds like America.
Several years ago on paper, but is still carried out in practice through loopholes in the prison system, ruled by an elite...
True, that's an old lefty talking point about how the prison system is modern slavery.
Class of lazy, malignant Nepo babies who are treated like gods basically just for existing, and if you so much as...
like Donald Trump.
...think about hurting one of them, they will bring the full weight of the state down on your head faster than you can blink. Though, of course, that last point applies to pretty much every empire, and that is the real point of the world government. The shape of and justifications for authoritarian regimes change from country to country and era to era, but the villainy masquerading as justice is an eternal constant. Justice, alongside freedom, is one of the two thematic pillars of One Piece, and much of the story concerns itself with figuring out what precisely those two words really mean. Every pirate is living a life of freedom, or at least thinks they are, while every marine at least claims to embody justice. But just as each pirate has a very different view of freedom and who should get to enjoy it, every marine uses their own definition of justice to justify their actions, villainous or otherwise. Fujitora, the samurai admiral, practices humane justice, with an emphasis on protecting innocents over attacking criminals. A noble ideal, to be sure, but one that's immediately compromised by the company that he keeps. His efforts to protect people mostly just end up mitigating the collateral damage caused by his less humane allies, which is perhaps why he got...
He's a big liberal, this guy, my
promoted
goodness.
Despite how many criminals he lets get away. It would certainly be a good PR move on the part of Marines, who kind of need him to serve as a counterbalance to the determined justice of Ryokugyu, the cop admiral who seeks to achieve justice by violently subjugating everyone he personally deems to be undeserving of it.
I literally don't think I've ever seen this character ever.
Which is pretty much...
So that's cool.
Anyone who refuses to submit to the authority of his gods, the celestial dragons. Such people he doesn't even see as human anymore. Standing between those two extremes is Admiral Kizaru, a fundamentally fickle man whose ideal of...
He's just a cool guy hanging out.
Justice is unclear. He's a laid-back sort of guy, some might say too laid-back, inquisitive and open, if absent-minded, which makes him a fast friend to Dr. Vegapunk. But he's not particularly decisive, and rather than sorting out the
I didn't know he was friends with the Vegapunk. Oh my goodness, Mr. Gems is in chat. I have been ignoring chat. Oh my god, so much cat. So much chat. Firebomb a Walmart or something. True. I mean, Garp is a bad guy personally. Just for what he let happen at Marineford. Yeah, he's a no good guy. He didn't save Ace. I mean, he had a change of heart, though, and let Luffy punch him. But yeah, that's probably the worst thing he's done. Who would have thought a Japanese person thinks you should be considerate to their oppressors? Funny. You'll see, Kyle. The twist is that Luffy was a good person and a hero. Will be interesting to find out if the Marines existed before the world government and the Void Century or not. Human life is more important than even justice or freedom. That must be somebody says in One Piece. Every sentence in the Fujitora section is wrong. It's wild. It could be.
Complexities of justice for himself. He'd much prefer to be under orders, which he follows with ruthless efficiency.
I wonder... This is probably going to take up the rest of our time. I wonder if there's, like, response videos to this. The politics of One Piece. I want to click reaction, but I just want to see what comes up. Oh, yeah, Hassan reacting. We gotta love that one. We should watch that instead. Is One Piece political with Sea-Dog VA? Drink sake, my goodness. One Piece politics and becoming... Oh, this is an old video. How One Piece made me a revolutionary. That's pretty epic. One Piece and political literacy. That's pretty awesome. Now, is Garp Bernie Sanders or this guy over here? We'll never know. One Piece isn't political. Look, we're making fun of that thing. Whitewashing One Piece for fascist fans. I think Sea-Dog VA got in trouble for this. One Piece isn't political is the worst take I've ever heard. Wow. One Piece is political, anti-fascist. That's pretty cool. I guess it's just Hassan, right? Or this could be? No, that's 2 weeks ago. I was right about One Piece, Hassan says. That's pretty epic. It just seems like it's Hassan stuff. Well, Hassan's right about
the
most
responsibility
things. What can
of
we
actually
say?
passing judgment himself. Though after the events at Egghead, he may no longer be able to cope through the guilt of that. His arc seems to be paralleling that of former Admiral Kuzan, whose motto of lazy justice came about as a result of his old burning sense of justice.
Who's Kuzan?
Being quenched by the atrocity.
It's Aokiji, isn't it? Does anybody actually say One Piece isn't political? Well, kind of, right? Probably. There's a Hassan reaction, lol. I think this is some sort of made-up guy or something.
Atrocities at Ohara, to the point you can scarcely call it justice at all. It's clear that he quit the Marines in his heart long before turning in his official resignation, and without that ideal, it's really no wonder that he ends up siding with the Blackbeard pirates after leaving.
Now, is he going to bring up that sword thing that he, like, founded or something that was supposed to be, like, the anti-Marines division or something?
Despite his kind nature. After all, as Luffy's foil, Teach is the ultimate avatar of selfish, individualistic freedom, and after a lifetime spent sacrificing his own freedom for justice, yet still being denied his final promotion by the Navy, it's only natural that Kuzan would swing all the way in the other direction. Former fleet
Because he'd, like, join the Blackbeard Pirates or something, right?
Admiral Sen.
But he didn't, actually.
Goku's reasons for stepping down are a little more noble. His ideal of reigning justice emphasized giving the people of the world a sense of security born from knowing that the Marines were looking out for them. But when the world government sought to save face by sweeping the prison break of Blackbeard's new Titanic captains under the rug, despite the danger those criminals posed to an unwitting public, Sengoku could no longer reconcile his ideal for what the Marines should be with the reality of what they are. Though, unfortunately, his leaving paved the way for someone even worse.
Yeah, we love this guy.
Power set, the new Fleet Admiral Sakazuki's approach to justice is full scorched earth. He believes that the world will only become truly just when all of the evil in it, including potential evil, has been rooted out and purged. This is, if I may editorialize a little here, a child's view of morality. The reactionary idea that the world will become good if you can just get rid of all the bad people, as if all the suffering and death that you'd have to cause to make that happen wouldn't make you one of the worst people to ever live. But that childish outlook is right in keeping with the brand of justice endorsed by the world government itself, absolute justice, which is a pretty straightforward philosophy. Everything that opposes the world government is absolutely evil, and anything the world government does to stop it is absolutely good. Even if that means cutting down innocent civilians just to get a pirate, or testing top secret experimental weapons on children, or nuking an entire island just to uphold the official narrative. And with that being their official party line, you can probably imagine what the Marines are like as an organization, especially under Sakazuki, worse than basically all of the criminals that they're actually capable of stopping.
Now that's pretty ironic. Now we are going flat this evening. Light Yagami type view. Light Yagami, that was a cool guy. I love that guy. He was my favorite guy. He's not in Sword. Didn't you... Wasn't that panel you sent me with him in it? Or was he just explaining it? Seems like he's unironically all in with the Blackbeard Pirates. I just remember a podcast episode where Nate said he's not really going to be with them. And Nate's pretty smart. Nate did have a funny tweet today, but I think it was literally about the most recent chapter, so I couldn't send it to Miller the Killer because he's still not caught up, because he is pretty pathetic, this Miller guy, you know. He's got like 60 chapters left, and he can't read them all in a day. That's all I'm saying. But I've read all of chat. That was describing Kobe. This Miller guy doesn't even like One Piece. It's true. It's true, frankly. But anyway, I'm gonna go lie down so I can get rid of this fucking headache. And, you know, maybe next stream we'll finish that video and do some other things. I probably want to be recording tomorrow, so that might lead to a stream tomorrow. I don't fucking know. Anyway, I'm a leaving.